And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Bill Has Opinions. I am your co-host, Laura LaVoie, and I'm here, of course, as always, with Bill Perkins. How you doing, Bill?
I'm mostly okay. I got a little poison ivy this week, but I put some Windex on it, so it should be okay.
Windex. Yes, thank you for the Big Fat Greek Wedding shout out right there. So, excellent job. So, what's going on? You got anything new happening?
No, I'm just living my best life is what I'm doing right now.
Well, then what you need to tell me is, what are you drinking?
Oh, what am I drinking? I'm drinking. I'm starting off with High Wire Brown out of Asheville, and I'm going to follow that with another High Wire S'mores Porter.
Ooh.
Move to that, and then if I'm still drinking when I finish these two, I'm going to shift gears. I've got Old Tuffy. Have you had this one?
No, I have not.
New Belgium Old Tuffy. It's just a lager from New Belgium. It's okay. I mean, it's a good drinking beer. It's kind of a lawnmower beer. And it's Old Tuffy, the mascot from NC State. I don't like or dislike NC State, so I don't have to opinion about that. But
you don't have any opinion on NC State.
I mean, I'm sure it's a fine school in many ways. Depends on what the major is, probably, like a lot of schools. I don't
know. But that is not what we're talking about today. But I do, real quick, want to tell everybody about what I'm drinking. This local Atlanta beer, Creature Comforts. Actually, they're out of Athens. And it's the Cosmic Debris Double IPA. And the reason I picked it is because today's episode is all about music. And why, would you ask, is Cosmic Debris? But there is a Frank Zappa song called Cosmic Debris. So I thought that it was appropriate. Unfortunately, I think this was a missed opportunity from Creature Comforts because they did not use Zappa hops in their beer, which I think they should have done.
Yeah.
Alas, missed opportunity. But we are going to be talking about music. As you can see, Bill has his music t-shirt on, little Dead Milkmen going on. And I got my music t-shirt on, The Descendants. So if you ever thought how Gen X we are absolutely proving that.
We're just Gen
X. We are peak Gen X.
This isn't just a Dead Milkman shirt. I want to point out this is from their 1990 Fear of a Beige Planet tour. For the most part, this shirt stays in the drawer because it's falling apart. But I pulled it
out special for us.
I pulled it out special for you guys, and I wanted to give, I guess, shout outs. Many of our viewers I actually know through the Dead Milkmen tangentially because I used to, back in the old days of the internet before Facebook, when we had forums, I was on a forum for the Dead Milkmen, and I met a lot of our listeners through that. You know, the ones that I haven't met through Dragon Con, probably.
Or that you're not in some way related to.
Yeah, or that.
Well, so far we have Jim from Detroit watching, who has pointed out that so far all of our viewers are Greek. That's because his brother Matt is also watching. But we have more people watching too. So yeah, Jay Hicks kind of wished he had the Depeche Mode shirt going on. Oh, and specifically for denamed bands. We could just do a whole show on bands that start with D's. Of the 90s. All right, so I think what we need to talk about, though, is a little bit about why we decided music was going to be our topic this week. You and I are both big music fans. You are also a musician. So kind of what was your background in making music?
Sorry. I always caveat and say I'm in a band. I don't go so far as to call myself a musician because then people have expectations.
You play some music.
I play some music. I play enough to sing along to. Sorry, what were you saying that I walked all over before that?
It's all good. No, so what brought you to music? Why do you have opinions on music? What's your backstory? What do you like about
my music backstory? So my dad, who I don't have a whole lot to do with, but he was the musical person in my family. He was in a band, I guess, when he was in high school. He liked music. He was always playing music when I was growing up. And I mean, we didn't live together for a long time, but I have fond memories of the Steve Miller Band, of the Book of Dreams album, particularly. He spun that thing like crazy when I was a kid. I remember hearing that and liking it, and I still like that album, as a matter of fact. I know it's kind of a, lowest common denominator, beer fart sort of thing, but I like it. I have fond memories of it. Let's see. After that, shoot, I don't know. Yeah, I liked Kiss when I was a kid. I think that was probably more image related, though. I don't know if I thought they were. They're musically, they're not that great. I would say I like them because of the image, more or less. They were comic book heroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. I remember in elementary school. When I was in fourth grade, I got a wild hair to go out and buy some vinyl because that was still a thing then.
Yes.
And I bought the Jackson's Victory album because "State of Shock" was a radio hit featuring Michael Jackson and Mick Jagger. I like that song. I went out and bought that Jackson. I mean, of course, we all had Thriller. When you were a kid in our age bracket. And then I went and bought Purple Rain the next week. My mother, thankfully, never listened to the B-sides on that. After that, I actually bought a few Prince albums, and she never listened to them. I mean, or not for several years. I remember one time I accidentally let one in the car, one of my Prince cassettes. We were driving along, and I forgot to pop it out before it flipped over to like side 2. And I think this was 1999, which had several racy songs. And and I had the Joan Jett Bad Reputation album. My mom actually bought me that one because I really liked her cover of the Gary Glitter song called "Do You Want to Touch?"
Right.
Which, that's kind of weird that she didn't question that.
There were so many things that I listened to when I was a kid, even preteen, that, if my mother had known, I don't know how she didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, my mom was just like, I don't know. She just didn't think about it. I think she was like, it's got a good beat, you can dance to it kind of person.
Exactly.
Lyrics didn't mean anything to her. They mean a lot to me. That we'll get into that. So yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. That's my introduction. And then I grew up fundamental, joined the church choir. That's how I got into like playing music. I sang.
That is not an image that I have in my mind of you in a church choir at all.
The youth choir, anyway. Yeah, and then and I was also in chorus in junior high. And then I was in plays in high school, but we didn't do any musicals. Although we would do a musical number at the end of our plays for some reason. We didn't do a musical, but they would have like a video, like a rock video kind of thing at the end of regular plays. This was just the director we had in high school who would do that. It was her like way to close the play out.
Sure.
And then and then I was in a band in high school, and then obviously in high school I got into punk rock and alternative, whatever the hell that meant back in the 90s. And then classic rock. I like Led Zeppelin, of course. We all like Led Zeppelin for a minute. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that backstory. That's where it.
Well, I don't play music. I've never played music.
Okay.
So I don't have that aspect of it at all. And I didn't grow up listening to, my parents weren't into any sort of popular music. My father listened to opera and classical. So I didn't have any sort of popular music in my background. But my biggest influence was my brother. Michael. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, Michael. He is a self-proclaimed music snob. He loves music very, very much, and he likes a lot of things. So anytime I would express an interest in something, he would then give me a massive mixtape of other things that were like that.
Yeah.
So as a teenager, preteen, I was listening to the Sex Pistols because I was into hair metal, and he's like, no, don't do that. So he would give me, old school punk rock and things, or Led Zeppelin. So I had a whole bunch of stuff like that I eventually learned to listen to. My sister, on the other hand, was and still is a huge Donny Osmond fan. So I actually have a little soft spot in my heart for the Osmonds.
That's cool. I like it.
It's not bad. It's not objectionable in any way. It's just good, nice music.
Yeah, no, he's diverse. He's a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
That's what I hear. I understand that to be true.
It's got a lot of influences.
Exactly. So a lot of my music, formative music years happened in high school. It was the early days of the grunge movement, the late days or the mid days of the goth movement, and it all sort of mushed together. So I was listening to, Nirvana and The Cure and all that stuff, and really into the Descendants for a while. I was really excited a couple of years ago. The Descendants went on tour, and I got to see them live, and it was hilarious. I had seen them live before when I was like in my early 20s when they were still touring. But it was really funny to go see them a couple of years ago because the entire audience was a sea of 40-year-old white people. That was it. Only people at the show.
I have definitely been to shows like that where you realize how this particular band ages you. Like you go there and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, we're the target demographic for this.
Absolutely. But it was a great show. Milo Walkerman, lead singer, still could rock it. It was a lot of fun. So I was glad we got to do it. But it definitely showed me, I'm like, yeah, I am not a teenager anymore.
Right.
I thought I was, but definitely not.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the question, Bill, for real opinions.
Okay.
What makes music good?
So I have some thoughts on this. Hold on a minute. For some reason the phone's ringing.
They want to know what your opinions are on music.
It's not my phone, but anyway.
It makes us sound like we have a phone bank, so it makes it sound really important.
Yeah, operators are not standing by. Do not call us right now.
Do not call. But do comment below, and if your comment is interesting in any way, I might share it.
We will respond to that. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what makes music good? I will say it's hard to say. I say, you know what? This is going to be very vague and blah, whatever. So let me back this up for a second. I used to be a real hipster music snob, right? Like I'd be like, that band was good until this point in time, and then blah, and they were cool before you guys knew about it. I used to be that guy, and I guess the only thing I'll say about that is I've mostly gotten rid of that attitude, except for, let's be honest, Weezer. Okay, Weezer had 2 good albums, and after that, if you're still listening to Weezer, there's something wrong with you. That shit. The Blue Album and Pinkerton are worth listening to, and after that, it's crap. It's really crap. After Rivers, I can't remember. Somebody left the band, right? There was a big shake-up. I don't know. Anyway, that's about the only thing I'll say that there's a definitive okay, But if it makes you feel good, that's the main thing, right? You dig it. And we'll get into this. I feel like we'll talk about this in a little bit later. I'll go more into that whole aesthetic of it. I do have, however, a little boop, boop, boop. Here's a thing that makes me I've got some little gimmicks that music can do that automatically make a song bam, I want to hear that song over and over again. If a song has a break, if a song has hand clapping, if a song or whistling. Hand clapping or whistling, but not both. You can't do both.
No, that's too much.
That'd be too much. That'd be oh, you're trying too hard. But if it's hand clapping or whistling, if it has call and response, those are some gimmicks you can throw into a song that most of the time I will hear a song, and if it has one of those things in it, I'm like, oh my God, that really does it for me. That scratches an itch for me somehow. This would be Hey Ya by Outkast. Oh, before I get into the Hey Ya by Outkast, I've also got this other theory, okay? It's called a shelf life of music.
All right. I'm here for it.
The shelf life of music. So all songs have a shelf life. And that is the number of listens you can hear them before you go, I can never hear that song again and I'll be all right, you know? And for me, like, so my example of a song with a short shelf life was Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel.
Uh-huh.
I'd say about 10 listens of that, and I was like, I could never hear this song again, and it'll be too damn soon, right? Like, it's a god-awful song. Actually, I feel like most of Billy Joel's catalog does this to me. I've got maybe 5 Billy Joel songs that I can still listen to. Most of his stuff, I feel like even Piano Man. I heard enough, like, I don't know, maybe there was a time period, like, when I was in, like, 2nd or 3rd grade where I think I had a Billy Joel Greatest Hits album, and I listened to Piano Man, and I thought, at that age, I thought it was a good song, and I listened to it over and over again, but it did not age well. I don't like to hear it now. I don't want to hear it. If it comes on the radio, I'll flip the channel.
Yeah, no, I'm actually with you on Billy Joel. I had a really, really close friend, childhood friend, who was a ridiculous Billy Joel fan. I'm sure she still is, and more power to her. She can like whatever she wants. But I heard enough Billy Joel from the ages of like 11 to 14, and I'm good.
Yeah, it just doesn't age well. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it does. Like, after you've heard enough of it, and you're like, okay, so that's an example of short shelf life. Now, then there's other things like the music of, say, Queen or Prince that has an immense shelf life, right? Like, you can hear Kiss by Prince over and over and over again. I'm sure there's probably a magic number where you'll finally go, okay, I've heard enough of that. I haven't reached it yet.
Right.
My best example, though, is Hey Ya by Outkast. I can hear Hey Ya by Outkast every fucking day for the rest of my life, and I will never tire of it. It is my jam. It is that good a song. It's got and it's got all the little gimmicks I'm talking about. It's got hand clapping. It's got a call and response. It's got a break. I mean, shit, he even tells you that the break's coming up.
Right?
And then, he says, "Don't have me break this thing down for nothing," you know. And it's not for nothing. It's always good. Every time he breaks that thing down, and you shake it like a Polaroid, and it's got the little noodly synth bit, and it's got a funky bass. It's got everything a hit song should have. I don't know what it is.
I appreciate your perspective.
And here's another thing, and this is not a thing that makes it a good song, but it's like a bonus, okay? It's a song that juxtaposes a melancholy subject matter with an upbeat kind of peppy tune, right? The song is talking about the fleeting relationships, like the fleeting nature of relationships, how nothing lasts forever, he says. Nothing lasts forever. So what makes love the exception? You know, when it's over, it's over. He said.
Right.
However, it's juxtaposed against this, like, you know, like such a good danceable song. I think it's honestly it's a good beat and you can dance to it. People probably have never noticed what a fucking sad song it is, really.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And the only thing that comes close to that is the original version, not the Pearl Jam version, but the original version of Last Kiss.
Right.
Like the guys. If you're not familiar, Last Kiss is a song about a guy who loses his girlfriend in a car accident. She dies in the car next to him. He has one last kiss before she dies, and he's talking about how she's gone to heaven and he's there alone on earth. And but the original version has got this really like kind of, you know, crazy upbeat sort of zingy madcap sort of tempo to it.
Right.
Pearl Jam slowed it down a little bit and I think tried to match the theme with the tone, you know, but if you listen to the original, you're like, wow, that's just some crazy stuff. That guy seems really, really happy that his girlfriend died.
Right. Which I guarantee, well, I mean, I hope he wasn't, but you never know.
I mean, nothing lasts forever.
as Outkast has told us.
So
yeah, no, the shelf life. I really resonate with the shelf life idea, and the first thing that came to mind was, so there was a song that was really, really popular many, many, many years ago, and it was so popular I bought the album, and I thought it was literally the jam, and I cannot listen to it anymore. Like, I cannot. And that song is "What's Up" by Four Non Blondes. If I never hear that song again, I will hear it too many more times. Like, I just cannot. And I owned the album. I loved it at one point. I literally cannot hear it anymore.
You don't even like the Prince Adam of Eternia version?
No, I mean, I will watch it because it's funny, but I still hate the song with a passion. Yeah. And again, I appreciate anybody who wants to listen to whatever they want, but yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Do you try?
I have tried, and sometimes because it's a very popular song, it ends up in a lot of television shows and movies. And as soon as it comes out, no, come on, no, just stop.
Too. And then there's the ones where, now this happens. Sometimes you'll hear a song and you'll think you're over it. If this ever happened to you, you think you're over it, and then it goes away for like 8 years, and then one day it just pops up at random on a radio station, and you're like, "Oh, that's fire! I haven't heard that in 8 years." You know, I think Tub Thumping did that for me. Like, I was over it back when it was popular in '98 or whenever, and then it went away for a while. And then now when I hear it, it's my jam again. Like, I can, like, that's fire. I like it, you know. But
yeah, I've actually, because it's been coming up a lot lately. I don't know why. It just is. And I've been listening to it again, and I'm like, this is not so bad. But yeah, at one point I was really annoyed with it.
That one and How Bizarre by OMD were both, like, they were the only two songs on the radio that summer. I remember. I was actually moving from Columbia, South Carolina to Chicago. And, you know, when you're driving across country and you have to switch radio stations every 40 minutes because, you know, one is that, you know.
Yeah, before streaming radio for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was in the day. This was in 98.
Right. Well before streaming radio.
Radio over FM waves is what we were doing.
Exactly.
And so every 40 minutes I'd have to flip stations. And I mean, and honestly, commercial FM plays the same 8 songs in rotation anyway. But when you drive out of one market and into the next market, you're likely to hear the same song within an hour. And I swear all I heard the entire drive was How Bizarre by OMD and Tub Thumping. Over.
Yeah, well, Jim from Michigan has said, every bad busker kills What's Up. And I think he's right. And I think there's another song that comes to mind in a very same fashion is Wagon Wheel.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wagon Wheel, especially because both of us lived in North Carolina at the height of its, you still live there and I'm moving back there, but at the height of its popularity. So it was the song. The buskers sang. If there was a bar, people were singing it. Cover bands were singing it. Not cover bands were singing it. Everybody was singing it.
They played at weddings.
Yes.
I think we actually put it on our wedding playlist, but not because I liked it, because there were a few people there that I felt like my music was going to be too weird for, and so I put it on there as kind of a placeholder.
Exactly. You know? And when it came out, I thought it was amazing. Like, it was really, really good. I was like, this is a great song. It's got a hook. It's catchy. It's everything you want it to be. And then literally everybody and their brother did a version of it. You couldn't walk 10 feet through Asheville without hearing it on a street corner. Darius Rucker did a version of it, and I was just done. Yeah, exactly. And Jim says, even Matt, my beloved life partner, has done versions of it. Although his version was apparently good, according to Jim. And it was actually good. It's just the song had a very limited shelf life.
Yes. So yeah, the shelf life theory, that's one of the things, I guess, that makes music good or bad to me is how long of a shelf life does it have? And I said, like I said, Hey Ya is my example of like the penultimate, like, this is what's really good. This works over and over again.
And penultimate ultimate because you don't want to commit to an ultimate yet because the ultimate might still happen.
Out there. Yeah, you know how I am. I'm like, nope, I reserve the top spot. It stays open, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So,
although it's pretty bold to say that that Hey Ya is the penultimate because that literally puts the bar. There can only be one more song greater in the history of Bill.
That's right.
It's true.
Oh, well.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's not even really my genre either, you know. But
right, but yeah, I think cross genre is fine. Like I like to make playlists because I'm a child of the late '80s, early '90s, so I love making playlists or mixtapes. And I did one for Thanksgiving, and I put on "Gone Till November" by Wyclef Jean, and I was like, you know what, it's a really good song. Was never my genre, but I remembered it. I remembered it when it was popular. And since it said the word November, I thought it was appropriate for a Thanksgiving playlist.
You put Cold November Rain on there?
The only reason I didn't is because it's 70 minutes long, and I just couldn't deal with it.
Fair enough. That one has a short shelf life.
It does, yes. Yeah, whereas Gone Till November, I think is again maybe one of those like wave shelf lives. Like I heard it back in the day and then didn't think about it, and now I'm like, oh, it's not bad.
Let me double back for a second because another thing that killed shelf life for me a little bit, you were mentioning how you wore out What's Up back in the day. Do you remember Singles?
Oh yeah, I had a ton of them. I had a Dead Milkman single.
Did you? Okay. Which song?
Punk Rock Girl, of course.
Punk Rock Girl. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to do a side for a second. Talk about Punk Rock Girl for just a second. For one thing, I've got a couple good stories. First off, so Joe, who's not the main lead singer for Dead Milkman, he's the guitarist, but he sings Punk Rock Girl.
Right.
Every time they perform Punk Rock Girl, he forgets the lyrics. Every time. Like the song's been out since what, 1988 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, he always flubs the lyrics. That's hilarious to me. Every time. I've seen him live like 7 or 8 times.
Right.
Every time. Punk Rock Girl. I don't know how this song goes. Secondly,
I know how the song goes.
Secondly, do you know that Dead Milkman purposefully pulled Punk Rock Girl from MTV? It was getting popular. They consider themselves a local Philly band for the most part.
Right.
I mean, they toured and they put out albums that were available in your local record bar or tracks or whatever the hell your stupid Camelot music, back in the day. But but they mostly consider themselves a local Philly band. And the fact that they were getting popular outside of Philadelphia like blew their minds in a way. And the fact that they were getting popular off of one song particularly, it was number 1 on MTV for about 3 weeks, the video. And yeah, I went to the Village Pizza Company too. I ordered hot tea there, actually.
Oh, wait, yeah, Jim has continued. I think he might post the rest of the lyrics if I let him.
I'm actually joking. I've never been to the Village Pizza Company. I did go to Zipperhead though when I was in Philadelphia.
Nice.
And yeah, I didn't meet any girls there though.
If I let him keep going, I'll just.
He's gonna put the entire.
I think we get the idea. Jim from Michigan, he knows the lyrics.
He knows the lyrics to Punk Rock Girl. Anyway, so they were getting super popular, and they actually asked MTV like, just pull it. Don't let it become like a huge thing. And MTV did, and kind of blackballed them. Like subsequent albums after that, their songs would only be on 120 minutes and would never be on like normal time slots. And I guess they're okay with that. To this day, Rodney Linderman, he's got a day job like everyone. He's a working schmo just like me. Was probably some kind of data analyst or some shit. I don't know.
But that's a great moment from music history, The Descendants, because Milo Aukerman is like a microbiologist. Gonna get that wrong, but whatever. He's like a super amazing scientist guy, a nuclear physicist, whatever he does. So like these bands just made some music because they thought it was fun, and then went about their lives.
Like you do. There's, you know what? There's a certain charm in that because they're making music because they like to make music and not because they have dreams of getting rich.
Exactly.
It's just about, I'm doing a thing. I thought it was cool. I thought I'd share it with you guys.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's, I guess, why I told that story about the dead milkman. It's brilliant to me that they had a shot. They had a shot to be like, boom, we're going to be this thing bigger than we are. And they're like, no, that's not what we're about. So, anyway.
Exactly. But speaking of getting rich, now would be the typical time in our show where we would pay some bills by doing some commercials. And since we have 0 paid sponsors, we decided to just give some shout outs to some people we like.
Yeah.
So the first one I want to give, and I'm going to post this in the comments, is that Bill and I are now selling t-shirts. So you can totally.
And that Laura.
Hold on.
It's probably just going to break us even, honestly, but
That's true. But also, I was going to post the link and then I destroyed the link. So let me get back to the link and then I will post the link. But we are now selling t-shirts online. There's a sale going on right now, too.
Oh, wow.
It'll be fun. Walk around and people be like, "Are you Bill?" And you'll be like, "No."
No, but he has opinions.
I'm not Bill.
On Facebook.
But Bill has opinions. And fun fact, right now we're just selling t-shirts, but Threadless, where we're selling our t-shirts, offers an option for a face mask. And we are currently on the wait list to sell Bill Has Opinions face masks. So just be ready for it because we're going to make that happen. Because I think it would be pretty funny. So, here we go. Here's the link for official. I am posting the link.
Okay. Very good.
Anyway, so beyond ourselves, we'll give a couple other shout outs. In Asheville, North Carolina, our friend Lauren owns Zapow Gallery. It's a pop art gallery. And right now, because of COVID-19 and this whole mess, she's selling art online. So you can visit their Facebook page, Zapow. I think it's just Zapow Gallery. Either way, search it. They're in Asheville. Check them out. Throw them some money.
We'll post a link later, right? Or in the comments.
I will post the link. I could probably find it now. But either way, look for Zapow Gallery because they're awesome. And of course, Bill, you need to give a shout out to the Purple Onion, the venue where you are currently.
It's where I'm coming live to you from the Purple Onion in Saluda, North Carolina. The Purple Onion will be reopening end of the month, I would say, for curbside and takeout. They're going to be offering, I think they're going to be offering beer and wine, and you can get bags of coffee, and they're going to have like a little bit of like farm to table grocery. If you live in the Saluda or Hendersonville area, or maybe Spartanburg, I don't know. If you're any further away than those places, I don't know if it'd be worth your while. But I'm saying, people local to us take out.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. Good stuff. I can speak highly of it.
So yeah.
I'm trying to actually put in Purple Onion, but apparently I'm failing to be able to spell purple. I've only had one beer, but purple is confounding me at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Do you like Deep Purple, Laura?
You know what? I don't hate Deep Purple, but they were never on my radar. They were a little bit before my time. Yeah. But I will tell you the thing that I like Deep Purple for is because the lead singer was on the original concept album of Jesus Christ Superstar, which I do love, was Jesus. So that is why I know Deep Purple.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, I would pick out a few other songs here and there, but I wasn't like a fan. I didn't have albums.
Yeah. No, I just like, my thing, I don't love Deep Purple either, but that organ on Hush, the way it goes, that kind of chugga thing, that's another like gimmicks. They're like, oh my God, like I love when an organ kind of does that sort of chugga thing.
Well, I think there are little bits of things in music. Like there's the U2 song, and for the life of me, I should remember the name of it, but it was on Octung Baby, and I don't remember what song it was, but it had this note, this moment where the note just hung in the air, and it was so incredible to me at the time. And now, obviously, I don't remember what it was, but at the time, I remember it just totally blowing my mind. This moment, just this note that hung for way longer than it should.
And sometimes this happens to me. There's a couple of bands I hate, like I hate this band, but even the bands I hate, there's usually like one song I'm okay with. And I'm talking like bands with huge catalogs. Obviously, I'm not talking like Nickelback or something because there's nothing there.
Please don't talk about Nickelback.
You know,
please never talk about Nickelback again.
I'm talking like, so I mostly hate Bob Seger, who's a Michigan native.
Yeah,
I mostly hate Bob Seger. However, he's got 2 songs that I do like. I like Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, and I like Sunspot Baby. And Ramblin' Gamblin' Man has just got a good groove. It's just got like this, but also some of it's lyrically. I think sometimes so I'm a person who listens to lyrics. I'm not a it's got a good beat and you can dance to it, because my wife gets annoyed with me because I'll sometimes like we'll be listening to a song and it'll be like a super duper hit on the radio. And I'll listen to it like the 6th or 7th time, and I've actually processed it. I've heard the entire song now, and I've filtered all the lyrics through my head, and I'll go, "This song's dumb as shit. Like this person's an idiot." And I'll explain to her why this person's an idiot, you know. And then she's just like, "Oh my God, you just ruined that song for me."
Yeah, I'm with you though. I am 100% a lyrics girl. I think that might be because I don't have a music background. But so the music. I get it. I understand. I can even read music, but like I don't get like music to me is purely emotional. Like if I hear the music, it's purely emotional. But then what takes that over the top is the lyrics. So every time I listen to music, it's really focusing on the lyrics.
Yeah, so it's hard to like a song if the lyrics are just stupid, unless they're so stupid that they're meaningless. But if they're like if it's just like a, ooh yeah, hey baby kind of thing, then okay, fine. It's okay. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like if the person's saying like has a sentiment, it's kind of dumb. Like my example for that will be, there was a song that was very popular. I want to say around 2003, 4, somewhere around there. There was a band called Hinder. And they had a song called Lips of an Angel. And it was this guy, he's on the phone late at night, like he's lying in bed with his current girlfriend, and apparently his ex-girlfriend calls him, and he's talking to her, and he's like reminiscing about how, and I'm like, Jesus, like the song was so stupid. It was so bad. And I always felt like the protagonist in the song was an idiot. I'm like, why would you be laying in bed with your current girl at 2 a.m. talking to your ex? Like, this is stupid. Like, and you broke up for a reason, and this is the reason I think it's stupid. You broke up for a reason. Conceivably, you're not viable. Like,
right?
Block her number. Like, certainly don't pick up at 2 a.m. There's no. As an aside, any call between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. can, nothing, like they're not going to be any deader tomorrow morning, are they?
Right, I hear you. That's why I have like the do not disturb on my phone, like because I'm going to sleep, and then at 7 o'clock I will find out your emergency.
Yes, exactly. What's it going to do to keep me up? Can't do anything about it at 2 a.m. So yeah, that's stupid. And I thought that was a stupid song.
Yeah. So Jim from Michigan says "Lips of an Angel" and Usher's "The One I'm With" are the exact same songs, but in different genres. I
can see that. I mean, I'm not as familiar with the Usher song, but this does happen. There are songs that thematically say the same thing. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you're much of a country fan, but Ronnie Millsap. Basically,
we'll get into that in 1 second.
Okay, but Ronnie Millsap, his entire career is rehashing other people's songs. He writes songs that are tangentially some other song, and if you're smart, you'll be like, "Hey, that's just that other song. That's already been said." And I think that Travis Tritt, to a degree, does the same thing too. However, they're like the same. Like, so Travis Tritt's got one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's just Shooting Star by Bad Company. Except for as a country song, which is close to a country song to start with.
Yeah, you don't need to change it. You just record that as a country artist, and you've got a country song.
Twang in it, and "Shooting Star" by Bad Company would be a fine country song. I mean, Bad Company, a band from England doing Southern rock. Like already, it's like
right. I also like because it's the comments are great because people are just typing, and then when you get a typo, it's not Hank Williams. It is in fact Hank Williams.
Yeah, Hank Williams Jr. Actually, to be more specific. Yeah.
So specifically, the next topic, what we wanted to talk about was. So I need to give a little bit of a backstory on this. My brother Michael worked at a record store in Ferndale, Michigan. So here's another quick shout out. Found Sound in Ferndale. Hopefully when all this is over, they'll be able to go back to work and people can go buy all their records there. But my brother is a huge music fan. He was one of my formative influences in music. Yeah. And I've had this conversation with him in person, but he's also posted it on Facebook about guilty pleasures. And his idea is that nobody should ever feel guilty about liking what they like. Like what you like. It doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't be embarrassed to like a thing. And I realized for a long time I was doing that. Like, because there's a bunch of country I really like. But I realized that there's a stigma about liking country that you're not supposed to if you're not maybe on some political ends of the spectrum. So, but I really freaking like it. Like Dolly Parton, she's my jam. She's amazing. I love Dolly Parton. I've gotten really into Casey Musgraves. She's really good. So yeah, I agree with my brother Michael that guilty pleasures is just something to make us feel better about liking things that might not be as popular. So I thought you might have an opinion on guilty pleasures.
Actually, I do have an opinion on it, and my opinion is pleasure is not something one should feel guilty about.
Exactly.
No, I used to, back in the day, I used to say like that's my guilty pleasure, and then at some point I was like, I don't need to fucking justify myself to people.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, that being said, and I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about me and Laura's relationship here. Laura she's got a philosophy about yum yucking.
I do.
And I used to be, and probably still to a degree, I am. I'm a bit of a yum yucker. And my wife thinks it's a Capricorn thing a little bit. But so some of it's my delivery. Like, so when I have these opinions, which is part of the reason I'm doing this show, I have these opinions, and my wife says, well, it's not just that I have opinions, but I deliver them like they're a decree from the king. And it makes other people feel bad for their decisions. So when I say like Coldplay is a shit band and you shouldn't like Coldplay, I don't really mean that you shouldn't like Coldplay. If you like a damn song by Coldplay, enjoy it. But I want you to understand that Coldplay is derivative as shit, and they're just Radiohead watered down for the radio. I mean, that being said, I really like Yellow, but it's kind of almost a Bush song. and Bush is really just the English version of Nirvana. And this is funny because I don't like Nirvana, but I kind of do like Bush. But anyway, I'm just saying, here's something, and I'm saying to my wife all the time, I'm like, well, my opinion of it shouldn't matter. Like, if you like a band, you should like the band. And just because I say I don't like it, you shouldn't have to feel bad about it. Like, just be like, fuck off. I like it, but it's some of it's my delivery, I guess. Like, I make these things sound like I'm very like, this is good and that's bad, and she has a hard time enjoying it afterwards because I've shat on it or whatever. But that being said, like, I'm trying to say, if you like a thing, like a damn thing. Guilty pleasures, there's no such thing. You like what you like.
Exactly. And to give viewers just a little bit of backstory on yum yucking, the literal definition of yum yucking is that if you think something is yummy and someone comes to you and says, no, it's yucky, that doesn't make it less yummy for you. So the idea is why I have a no yum yucking policy is that if I say I'm a big fan of Alanis Morissette, which I'm not, but if I were, then if you came to me and said, why would you ever listen to Alanis Morissette? She's absolute shit. I can't believe you would do that. That is yum yucking. Whereas on the other hand, if you said, all right, you do you, I do not like Alanis Morissette, but you go like it, that is not yum yucking.
Right. That being said, this one right here, big fan of Frank Zappa, probably the world's worst yum yucker on earth.
I know. As a matter of fact, it's pretty funny because a couple of years ago, I went to see the Zappa on Zappa, not the tour, the actual, the documentary, where it was just all Frank Zappa talking about Frank Zappa. And I'm a huge fan of Frank Zappa. But after watching that documentary, for a couple of weeks, I was questioning because he was kind of an asshole. A complete asshole.
He fucking hated everything. He liked a couple things. He liked Berlioz and Elvis Presley or something. But he hated Bowie. He hated the Beatles. He just shat all over everything. I mean, you hear it's not just like one of those things where he did it personally. Like he did it in his music. Like
right.
Like Be in My Video is just shitting on David Bowie. It's a solid 5 minutes of shitting on David Bowie. And it's like, do I like the song? Yeah, it's an enjoyable song. At the same time, I really like David Bowie, and I think David Bowie, talent-wise, is equal or better than Frank Zappa.
Well, that's exactly the thing. I think no one can doubt that Frank Zappa was exceptionally talented, but talent and being an asshole are not mutually exclusive. So I think that's fine, and that's kind of what I kind of came out of it with. I guess if I learned his level of assholery was abusive or violent, I might change my mind. But at this point, I can enjoy the music. I can enjoy the art for art's sake without having to endorse what the artist believed.
Right.
Which I think is an important distinction.
It is. If you can't separate yourself, art from artist, there's a lot of stuff you're not going to be able to enjoy. I mean, Listen, I know R. Kelly is a horrible, horrible man, but he's got a song called, I think it's called The Zoo, and it is just fucking hilarious. It's a long-winded metaphor of animal sexuality, and it's got some rhyme schemes in it that will just make you laugh out loud. It's so it's like a fucking 12-year-old wrote an R&B song is what it's like.
I think there's an argument that could be made that that's about the level that he was working on most of the time. So fair enough.
But I'm just gonna say, and again, I mentioned earlier, I like songs written by Gary Glitter. I mean, do I know the guy's an asshole and a horrible human being? I do, but he could write a jam once in a while,
Right. Heather makes a good point. She likes a lot of weird music, and she always assumes people won't like it, but she gets really excited when other people do like it, which I think that is exactly, why yuck someone else's yum. Yeah. I think that's exactly right. I like a lot of weird shit, and I get super excited when other people decide they like it too, or, give it a shot or listen to it or whatever. And it makes, I still am going to like it, whether you like it or not, but it does make me really happy when you decide that you're going to give it a shot. And also, as Jim from Michigan says, many great artists are unforgivable human beings.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pain that goes into being an artist, I imagine, so,
Many people are unforgivable human beings. That doesn't necessarily, that's a different show topic, but that doesn't necessarily make their art bad.
Right. So hit me with whatever we were going to talk about next. Sorry.
All right. Well, we got a couple choices. All right. So real quick, let's do a couple of rapid fire, because then we have some business to take care of. Yeah. Otherwise, we could literally talk for hours about this. But I also think that music is going to be something we revisit multiple times. Yeah, we'll circle back to this.
We'll circle back to this, as they say in the business Zoom meetings.
As they say, because we've all been doing a lot of Zooms, so we will circle back to this. But a couple rapid fires. What is Who is your all-time favorite music artist?
Whew, that's tough. I'm one of those people where like it really depends a lot on my mood. Sometimes what's my favorite thing?
Yeah.
Like when did you ask me? And shit, I would say it wavers between the Pixies and Prince probably 90% of the time. It just really depends on my mood though. Yeah, I'm gonna say Pixies or Prince. I can't really pin it down to one or the other of those two. I like a lot of them.
And I every time I'm asked this question, I answer it differently. So I just don't know. Every time I hear myself answer it, it's different. But I will say, a friend of ours is doing a like mean music challenge thing that's actually been a lot of fun, and we made a playlist out of our answers. So like every day is a different subject. Like today was a song from the year you were born, which I'm like, I don't know. But I was born. I didn't listen to music then. But
well, you've played songs since then,
right? But it was funny because a topic from a couple weeks ago or a week ago. I don't know how days have all melded together. A topic from earlier was a song you remember from your childhood, and I picked something and I posted it. But today, my Facebook memories told me that Raspberry Beret came out when I was 10 years old.
Yep.
And I was like, oh crap, I should have put that on the list.
As you might recall, I quit on Dub Sprite on that particular day.
You did, absolutely.
Because of what I said earlier, I bought Purple Rain as an LP. I was in 4th grade. It was not an album aimed at 4th graders, I don't believe, but something about it spoke to me. I really like the song. Well, I will say my parent. I grew up with divorced parents, and there's some lyrics about animosity towards your parents, about the things they instill in you in that song. And I think that was, it's crazy. Even at 9 years old, that was something that like I related to. I was like, maybe I'm like my mother, maybe I'm just like my father,
Right? I think that's fair.
Somehow or another that spoke to me. And I was like, yeah, I feel that,
Yeah, no, I think Prince is definitely at the top of the list. And honestly, like I said, for me, it changed. The answer changes on my mood. Like it literally, I have no idea. I couldn't actually answer that question right now. But a more important question. So, I had this posed one way. Oh, yes.
What was your favorite artist?
Like I said, I don't know. Like, honestly, the one I would lean toward right now that I listen to the most, and this is going to be insane, and people are going to think I'm absolutely insane, but honestly, this is the music I'm listening to on constant repeat, is Rachel Bloom, and she's a comedian. She's a goddamn comedian, and it has nothing to do with music, but literally, it's on my constant playlist.
Well, she doesn't have nothing to do with music. I actually sent Laura, or my wife, one of us, told you last week that Rachel Bloom is the voice of one of the trolls in the Trolls 2 movie.
Yes, I almost watched it for that reason. I did not. I resisted, but I almost watched it.
She's the queen of the rock trolls or something, No,
and I get it. She literally, before she had a television show that was a musical, she had a couple of novelty songs. So I get it, but she's on my constant playlist. I can't stop. So that's just where I am right now. But there are artists. I love Mike Doty, who was in Soul Coughing. I love Jason Isbell, who used to be in the Drive-By Truckers. Like, those are things I can listen to constantly. But it will change. Tomorrow I could tell you something else completely.
Yeah. Well, that's usually how I feel. I'm like, it depends on my mood today. So
exactly. And honestly, like for a long time it was Tori Amos. That was the formative music of, early 90s girls. Like that's what we listened to. And it's still good. Like I still listen to it. I'm like, this is amazing. But I won't just sit and listen to a Tori Amos album all the way through anymore.
You know what's great? I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you look on YouTube, Tori Amos does the best covers of songs. I used to own
a ton of them.
I know. I downloaded a whole pile of them one time. I used to have a CD called Tori Covers Everything.
Yes, I had that as well. And I would because that was also the height of Napster.
Yes.
So I would download all sorts of stuff on Napster.
Yes. I would download Led Zeppelin doing Hush by Deep Purple on Napster. It turns out it actually was Deep Purple doing Hush, but every classic rock song was Led Zeppelin. And
yes, because Napster was weird.
It was the worst. Like people were idiots on Napster, and you would download these songs, and you have to go back and rename every file.
Yeah, because it was always weird.
Yes, because every classic rock song was Led Zeppelin, and every country song was Johnny Cash, and every funny song was Weird Al.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but the next question I have, and originally I had it written down as least favorite artist, but I'm gonna amend that a little. What artist do you think is the most overrated?
Okay. This is gonna sound like yum yucking, probably.
Well, yeah, and by nature, the question is, so I understand, and our viewers will understand.
My least favorite artist, shoot. Well, I mean, I guess I said Billy Joel was like unlistenable, really, didn't I? To a degree.
I did.
But I don't think he's ever. I don't know if he's overrated. You said overrated.
Well, I amended it to be overrated, like because I think least favorite is loaded. I think that's yum yucking. But who do you feel is overrated?
The Beatles. They get way more credit. Hey, here's the thing. Ostensibly, you like the Beatles because you liked them when you were a child. It's like Doctor Who. It's like it appeals to the child brain, and you liked it when you were 8 years old. And now you listen to, like, honestly, a lot of it. I mean, there's a few. Some of their later work is like, okay, I kind of still dig that, but a lot of the stuff from the early days up to about '67 is just, and even past that, they had a couple songs that are just like they're silly and they're like it might as well be the Wiggles. You know what I mean? Like, and people will shit on that. I will say, like, I actually seen the Wiggles in concert. Okay, and I went with my child, but.
But so you weren't just the creepy middle-aged guy at a show by yourself.
You're picking up chicks. No, but there are a couple of songs by the Wiggles that I don't think are awful, but not awful in the same way that Beatles songs are not awful. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, what makes a silly song about an octopus's garden a good song? That's a dumb song.
Drugs is what makes that a good song. But I knew you were going to say that because we have a very differing opinion on this. Because Beatles, they're not one of my all-time favorite bands, but I definitely think they're incredibly influential and incredibly. They have made one of the biggest stamps on music history, and I do very much like the Beatles, and I will still listen to it today. I will listen to Beatles today and enjoy it.
Oh, and that's fair. And I'm not trying to like do that whole thing where I'm like, you have to justify your Beatles like to me. I'm just saying for me, when I hear a Beatles song, most of the time I'm just like, you know, it's mediocre. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't flip the channel over the Beatles where I would over 90% of Bob Seger or the Eagles or Billy Joel. You know, like it's not
right.
Bad. But people go on and on like the Beatles are the end all be all of fucking music, and they're not. Is where I'm getting, you know, so.
And I think that's a topic that we could probably explore more in the future, because I firmly believe that there are influential bands that I don't like. Like, I understand that they are 100% historically influential, but I don't like to listen to them. For me, that's the Rolling Stones. I do not like the Rolling Stones, but I get that they're formative for music. And the overrated band that I will mention, which, you know, again, I don't want to yum yuck. People can listen to everything they want, but I do not like Elvis Presley. I don't like to listen to it. It doesn't bring me joy.
That's fair.
So,
yeah,
but
I'm a big Elvis fan, and I don't know whether that's like that might be its own like on-off switch, like it's a binary, like you either like Elvis or the Beatles.
That's an interesting theory.
Things that are influential, you know, it's funny though. It's fun. It's funny that you do like Zappa and don't like the do like the Beatles, where Zappa crapped on the Beatles and loved Elvis Presley.
100%. I completely understand that weirdness, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And Zappa's not for everybody. Zappa's
he is definitely not for everybody.
Like weird as shit. Like, there is no level that he is not weird. There is literally the weirdest. But I'm okay with that. But yeah, no, but Elvis to me is a band that, or is a guy, is an artist that I think was incredibly influential, and music would not be where it is today, but I just can't listen to it. And I only remember how much I dislike Elvis every Christmas. Because when you're listening to, Christmas radio station, like every other song is Blue Christmas. And I'm like, God, I can't.
They don't play Blue Christmas enough, in my opinion.
Exactly.
They have 7 versions of Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, and none of them are by Elvis. And I don't want to hear it anyway. That's a terrible song. I don't care or Nat King Cole or whoever the hell. I don't want to hear it. There are a zillion Christmas songs, and you don't need to play the same one 8 times by different artists. And that's how radio stations work.
And Christmas, I think Christmas music is its own podcast.
Oh, we'll have it. In December, we will come back to this topic. So let's just drop it.
We will. I know we want to talk about this again. We want to talk about beer again. But real quick for the historic, like historically influential versus what people like to listen to. Sure. It's I just want to mention this real quick that I always thought I didn't like the Who. Like I didn't think I liked the Who for a long time. And then I'd be like, I don't like the Who except I like this song, this album, all of this. I like all, and then I was like, holy crap, I like the Who. Like apparently I just like them.
Which song did you like by the Who?
I can't tell you now because now I realized I like.
Who Are You? It was Who Are You? The theme song.
It probably was. That was the most the most overplayed one. But and I loved because I'm a huge fan of musical theater and musicals and things like that. So Tommy, I watched far younger than a person should have watched Tommy. Like I was not old enough to process Tommy the first time I saw it. I don't know that I am now, and I'm 45, but it is dense and it's a lot. And when I saw it when I was 10, I definitely didn't understand it, but I liked it. And then there were a bunch of like pop hits that may not have been my favorites, but then I realized that they were not. Like I still like them, but at the same time, I do not like the Rolling Stones. I can't listen to a Rolling Stones song.
At all, any of them?
I don't prefer them. Obviously, I hear them a lot, but I don't like them.
Yeah. Okay. See, I like the Rolling Stones and the Who both better than the Beatles and
right. And again, all of those bands are incredibly influential. So I think that there's an understanding of you don't have to like something, but you can accept its historical significance.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's things that I'm like, eh. I mean, like Nirvana would be an example of that. I understand the historical significance of Nirvana. I never loved Nirvana. I was already a Pixies fan. A friend of mine pointed this out to me. He was like, "Well, you were already a Pixies fan. This is why Nirvana didn't click with you because you were already into that." And it's kind of like it scratches the same itch. So you were like, this is not new. It doesn't break any new ground for you. Like. Whereas for most people, Nirvana was like this. It opened the door for them, and they
completely changed the face of music. And they're historically significant.
But in the case of me, apparently, like it didn't. I was just like, this is just. I thought at the time when it came out, I remember I was like, this is flavor of the week. It'll go away.
But it didn't. So we are actually out of time. We're gonna go over because there's a few more things. So we could literally talk about music forever. But there are a couple of housekeeping things we need to take care of, and then we'll call it quits for today. But we will definitely be talking about music again in the future. But before we go, we of course want to promote our mailbag segment. Mailbags. So everybody, do not forget to message us or comment with your mailbag questions. We will answer any questions. We will comment on any opinions. We want to hear from you. But I have one little tiny mailbag. Eleanor from Phoenix writes, is the correct term opinion on or opinion of? Do you have an opinion on something or do you have an opinion of something?
I think it depends on
I think people that are into grammar would argue, but I think there are positions where we could say either.
Yeah, that's why I say it depends on the thing, because some things I have an opinion of, and some like I think people you have an opinion of, and things you have an opinion on, maybe.
Fair enough. There's also the seldom used opinion about. Like, can you have an opinion about something?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And what's the they're all prepositions. Why does it matter?
That's a good question, and maybe I didn't pay enough attention in English class to really know. It's like affect and affect, and I never know the difference, and I just find a different word when it comes to those two things. I'm just like, I'll go read the definitions every time I want to use one of them, and I'll read them both, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't know. Like, let me find a synonym.
I will tell you a little secret. I am a professional writer. People pay me to write things, and I have to constantly look up the difference between its apostrophe S and its without an apostrophe every time.
I got that one. Affect and affect are the two that like drive me nuts.
I got that. If you ever need a second pair of eyes on that one, I pretty much got you.
You call me when you want its and its, and I'll ask you when I want to affect something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So it is. We've gone for over an hour, which I could keep talking about this forever. But we do have to end the show, as we always do, with things that are extra. So, Bill, what you got for us this week?
Things that are extra, man. Number 2, Phillips head screwdrivers. I don't know why. You can own a bazillion of them, but when you need one, it is nowhere to be found. The number 2 Phillips head screw. I'll tell you something. Recently, I went. Not recently, like since this crap happened, but like I don't know, 2-3 months ago, I went to the hardware store, and I actually bought like a whole box of number 2 Phillips head, the little things that go on the drill head, you know.
Yeah.
I bought a box of them, and I think it was like $20, but it was like 30 of them in a box for $20. And I put them all over the house because I can never find them when I need them. Like, I don't know why, but like when you need to drive a screw, like those things are never to be found. They're always missing. The only thing remotely close to that, if anybody does any mechanic work, your 10 millimeter socket head is also always missing, but not quite as badly as the number 2 Phillips head. Either a hand screwdriver or the bit. Either one, you can't find them when you need them. So that's what's extra this week.
I'm 100% there. I know you're working on a huge home improvement project. As you know, Matt and I built our own home, a tiny home at one point. I'm completely with you. And we have, like, I know where they are right now, but a week from now, I might not know where they are.
It's like when you need it, it's not going to be there.
And there's also, like, there's the issue when you're doing building projects and stuff, if you buy a lot of different kinds of screws, some of them come with their own bits.
Right.
And then you can find those bits when you don't need them.
When you don't need
them. You can't find a regular Phillips head.
Nope. And it's always it's the number 2 is the standard one, the one that 90% of your Phillips head screws use is a number 2. So I guess I would suggest this is what I tried was I bought the giant box of number 2 Phillips head screw bits, and I hid them all over the house. I put them in different toolboxes. I put one on the drill, like, you know, in the little it's got a little thing down at the bottom that you can snap a drill bit into. I put
right. Yes.
I've got a box of I put one in like every box of drill bits that I have. You know, like you'll have ones that are actually drill bits, not
yes.
bits. But I put one in there, and then I put one in I've got a set of extractor bits. So like, you know, when you strip the screw out finally, and you have to get the special extractor bit.
Right.
I have a set of those. It's got a number 2 hidden in there.
Nice.
I just put them everywhere because I had, you know, I'm tired of looking for them.
I think that's a good strategy. I think that's a tip viewers at home can use. Buy all of them and hide them. Hide them. So that is our show for this week. We appreciate everybody who's been here. We had up to 10 viewers today.
Oh, wow.
We're down to 5 now as people start dropping off. But of course, you can always watch the video later.
The recast.
The recast, as it were, just on demand as you like. But we will be back, of course, next week for another episode on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We don't know what that topic's going to be. We're going to discuss it over the next few days, and we'll let you all know. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next week.
Check you later. Oh, by the way, sorry.